everybody, my name is Simone and welcome to Simone's Bedtime Stories. Me and my pals are getting ready to sleep and we are going to hear a bedtime story. Hi Daddy, I'm ready.
Hi Simone, you ready?
Yes.
Alright, okay, let's tell you a story. What story to tell?
How about the story about the 5 Pandava brothers?
It's called, Mahabharata.
Mahabharat.
So let's tell story of Mahabharata. See, Mahabharata is a very long story. Okay, so we have to do it in episodes. Okay, so let's start the story of Mahabharata. See, Mahabharata is the story of a king called Bharata. Okay, basically this king was, lived there in the area of India. Now it's called India, but back then it were so many small states, so many small kingdoms, and this king lived there.
Well, just like in the US, how there were such small states and then they came together?
Exactly. Yeah, in the US there were, initially, if you read the history of the US, initially there were only the states in the northeast, and there were Union, and then there was Confederate, and they all came together and formed the country called United States of America. Exactly. So like that, the British invaded India, around 1700s. So before that, there were a lot of small countries in that area, and they were, there was no India back then, but it was called, land of Bharata, because there was this king Bharata who was actually born for, King Dushyanta and Shakuntala. Right,
Shakuntala and Dushyanta.
So there were, Dushyanta was a king, and Shakuntala was actually daughter of sage Vishwamitra and another beautiful woman from from heaven. See, there were supposedly the Indian mythology says that there are people living in heaven, and they are very beautiful and very smart and very intelligent, and they had special powers and things like that, right? So there was this sage Vishwamitra, and he married a woman, from that heaven. Her name was Menaka, and this daughter, they had a daughter, and that daughter's name is Shakuntala. And this king Dushyanta, who was ruling that area at the time, he married Shakuntala and gave birth to this king called Bharata, and that Bharata ruled that area of the king, so it's called land of Bharata, right? That's how
Okay.
India also has another name called Bharata, Bharat or Bharata, right? So basically the descendants of that king Bharata, are the key players in the story of Mahabharata. Okay. So in the Mahabharata, so he has many sons and grandsons and things like that, and then eventually comes King Shantanu. So King Shantanu is ruling that area, and his capital is Hastinapur. Okay. Hastinapur. 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 Okay. Hastinapur, exactly. So he was ruling that area, and his capital was Hastinapur. And one day he was walking on the banks of Ganges, river Ganges. So river Ganges is a very popular and sacred river in that area of the country, right? So he was walking only on the banks of the river, on the shores of the river, right? There is water going, and there is, shores on the either side. So he was walking, and then there was a beautiful woman that was walking in that shore as well, right? And he looked at that woman, and he liked her so much, and he wanted to marry her, right? He's a king. So he goes and tells her, hey, you look very beautiful, and I like you very much, and I want to marry you. So the key lady says, hey, oh, that's perfectly fine, I can marry you also, but you have to abide by 2 conditions. She says 2 conditions. One is, you should not ask me who I am, what I do, what is my name, and things like that. So you'll not know anything about me. 2 is, you cannot stop me from whatever I want to do. I will do whatever I want. I will not give you any reasons, and you cannot stop me, you cannot ask me anything. So those are the 2 conditions she gives, and King Shantanu was like, really? Okay, I like you so much, that's fine. I'll stick to those 2 conditions, and then, we'll, be happily married and live together. So they get married, and then, she goes to the palace, she lives with the king, and then they're, living happily, and then, she gives birth to the first son. Right, the king is so excited. Wow, love this woman. She's so beautiful and she's so smart, and she's giving birth to my son. I'm so happy. And he goes to look at the son. But what this woman does is she takes this baby and then puts it in the water, the Ganges river, and then she kills the baby, and then the baby dies.
What?
So that she does to the first baby. And then the king is like, what? Why did she do that? And the king is bound by the pledge, right? What is the pledge?
That he cannot ask any questions about what she did.
Okay, that's the first.
And she cannot ask what her name is and how old she is.
Exactly, anything about her, right?
Yeah.
So because of those two conditions, the king keeps quiet. King is like, not asking anything. Then the second, baby is born, and that is also a beautiful boy. And, she does the same thing. What does she do?
She kills the baby?
She takes the baby, puts the baby in the river Ganges, and then kills the baby. Then the third baby is born. The king is not able to ask any question because he has made that promise, right? She said, hey, I'm not going to ask you who you are, what is your name, where are you from, and then I'm not going to ask you why you're doing this, I'm not going to stop you from doing this, I'm not going to, ask the reason why you're doing this, right? So the king is not able to ask anything. She does the same thing to the third baby. She does the same thing to the fourth baby, fifth baby, sixth baby, seventh baby. Oh, the king is so fed up. Oh my God, I got all these beautiful sons, but she's killing the baby. What is happening? So the eighth baby is born, right? And then she is taking the baby to the river and she's doing the same thing. And the king stops. Hey, stop. Why are you doing this? You did this for 7 babies. I kept quiet. I'm not going to, stick to the pledge I made. But, you have to tell me why you're doing this and who you are. Where are you from? What is your name? Blah, blah, blah. He's asking. And for that, she says, hey, king, you did not keep your promise, because you made a promise saying that you'll not ask me anything and you'll not, you'll let me do whatever I want to do. But now you did not keep your promise because you asked me this question. Here is what my story is. I'm going to leave you because you did not keep your promise. And also, here is the answer to your question. There were 8 gods called Vasus in heaven, right? And there was this saint Vashishta. So this Vashishta, these gods, for some reason, made the saint Vashishta angry. So because the saint Vashishta became angry, got anger, and he cursed them. He cursed them saying that all of the 8, hey, all you 8 Vasu gods, you will have to take the form of a human being and go down to the earth and live there, because you did not respect me. You made me angry with your actions. So of all the 8, all the Vasus realized, oh my God, this sage is cursing us. We have to apologize. So all the 8, out of the 8, the 7 immediately apologized to the saint. Hey saint, we are sorry, we made you, angry. Please, forgive us. Right? The saint says, but the 8th one just kept standing there without apologizing. Right? So the sage said, hey, because the first 7 you apologized, you still have to, follow my curse, meaning you still have to go to the earth, and then but you don't have to stay there for a long time. You will come back pretty quickly, come back to heaven pretty quickly. Whereas the 8th one, because you did not apologize, you are going to live there in the earth for a long time. So that's what this so this lady says to the king, hey, I am actually Ganges. I am the this river Ganges. I have this lady farm called Ganges. So my name is Ganga. I am the river Ganges, and this is the story why I had to kill 7 babies, because these were actually gods that were born, and they're going to go back to heaven. But the 8th one is your son, and that 8th son will be with me, and eventually I will bring him back one day. After he grows big, I'll bring him back one day to you. So she says, and then she goes away, disappears in the river. Right? So what is her name? Ganga. Ganga, because she is the river Ganges. So she is the lady form of river Ganges, and her name is Ganga, right? So the 8th boy, she takes the 8th boy with her, and then he grows big, and then he, one day again
What's
the king
his
is.
name?
His name is Devavrata. Devavrata, right? So one day again the king is all very sad because he had this beautiful lady as his wife, and she left him, and he is very sad, and then he's again walking on the shores of river Ganges, and then one day she comes back and then she says, hey, here is your son. He has grown so big, and you can take him, and he's going to be your son. So the king takes, now I got my son. I'm so happy. I'm sure he's going to be a very smart kid because he's born for this lady from heaven, Ganga. So he's taking that son, and he names him Devavrata, and then he makes him the prince, and he goes to the palace and they live happily.
Okay.
That's the first story of Mahabharata.
Okay.
Can we close there?
Yeah. Bye everybody. I hope you enjoyed my story, and don't forget you can always listen to more.
All right.